Welcome to Remnant 101 at the City on a Hill Church. I'm Associate Pastor Benji Lalayan. God's remnant knows that they receive his miracles because of their faith, not the other way around. We're going to look at a couple of different spots in Luke chapter 4, beginning in verse 17. It says, "And Jesus was handed the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, 'The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord.'" Verse 21, he began to say to them, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." Verse 23, he said to them, "You will surely say this proverb to me, 'Physician, heal yourself. Whatever we have heard done in Capernaum, do also here in your country.' Then he said, 'Assuredly I say to you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. But I tell you truly, many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah, when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months, and there was a great famine throughout all the land. But to none of them was Elijah sent, except to Zarephath in the region of Sidon, to a woman who was a widow. And many lepers were in Israel in the time of Elisha the prophet. None of them was cleansed except Naaman the Syrian." So Jesus came to Nazareth, his hometown, to speak of the people in the synagogue on the Sabbath. He spoke from the book of the prophet Isaiah about how he's the promised Messiah, rightfully claiming that God sent him to preach deliverance to the captives, among many other things. He also claims that people will question him in disbelief, telling him to heal himself and perform miracles that he did in Capernaum. Jesus' response, "No prophet is accepted in his own country," in verse 24, implies that those who know a man of God most are most likely to reject them, much like Elijah and Elisha. In all of this, Jesus implies that his miracles and signs and wonders are meant for believers, not skeptics, as he refuses multiple times to perform such. He gave them a prophetic word that has been fulfilled, but in order to receive from it, as opposed to simply hearing it, one must exhibit faith and loyalty. You got to remember that my dad always says that faith is hard. But we've seen here at the City on a Hill so often that believing, faith, and loyalty bring eternal results, not temporary fixes from things like physicians and pills or therapists and life coaches or whatever there is for whatever you're dealing with. No Christian will say this out loud, but the way they're living in those areas says, "I'm going to keep using these things, pills, doctors, or whatever, until God takes care of it for me." Either that, or they're just content with God not doing anything for them at all. They'll say they believe, they'll sing songs, they'll cry at the altar, post scriptures on social media, things like that. But where are those who act in obedience and in faith and loyalty, like the widow from Zarephath or Naaman the Syrian that Jesus mentioned? That's who God really shows himself strong on behalf of. That's who Jesus said those miracles are for. We, the remnant, aim to live that way daily. And even though this may not quite be on the same subject, I have to mention that in order to live that way, you also have to have the fear of God. Without it, you can't give God the loyalty and the respect that is needed for you to be willing to put that kind of faith in him so that you can receive those miracles. We here at the City on a Hill have seen them and know there is greater yet to come. God bless you.